Do you get sore wrists? Like, do you want to do more press-ups, but you get sore wrists, so it stops you trying? Would like to try handstands or something, but you get sore wrists and it stops you trying. If you're doing a pump class and by the end of the backtrack, your forearms are absolutely thrashed. If that's you, maybe these two videos can help. The first video, showing some basic activities to strengthen up the wrist and the forearms that support it. And the second video, a bit more advanced to really bulletproof you. Let's get into it. So the first thing we want to work on is wrist flexion. Now that means that you're going to be drawing the wrist in this direction against some resistance. Of course, everybody chooses their own resistance. I'm going to grab this 5-kilo dumbbell and I'm going to let this roll right down to the end of my fingertips. Notice how my wrist is bending, and then I'm going to curl my fingers and come up, not just to flat, but I want to keep coming up above flat, okay? It's up to you how many reps you do, but I generally recommend in the 10 to 15 repetition range if you've got some sensitivity in the first place. If you're just looking for more straight out strengthening, I'd go for a heavier thing and get the reps below 10. Do also try some of them with a straightened arm to get those different attachment points. And again, noticing I'm not just going to flat, I'm going a bit above that, and I've got my fingers fully engaged on the bar. We've also, of course, got to get the other side of the forearm. And as you can tell, these muscles are bigger than these muscles, so you'll need a lighter weight for this one. Using some variety, some with a thumbless grip and some with a thumb around it. Again, you've got regular wrist curl with or without the thumb. And you can go for straight arms as well, and you might even like to turn the elbow out slightly and you'll feel a slight change as to where the load goes. These forearm strengthening exercises increase the strength of the wrist itself, okay? Now, another thing is you can have this ridiculously expensive forearm and grip trainer right here. It's just a stick with a rope on it and a little weight that you can tie on the end. Now, looking at this one, you can see that the string is on the far side of the stick from me, and I've got an underhanded grip, and I'm just going to scroll it up to the top like this, getting a full movement through the wrist, trying to keep this bone pretty much horizontal as opposed to down there. When you reach to the top, you just let it go, and you turn your hand over, so you're getting the wrist moving in a different direction. That's two different directions. Once you've done that, you turn it around so that the string is on the other side, and again, go for overhand and underhand movements, getting lots of action and mobility out of the wrist, okay? Easy peasy lemon squeezy, okay? So that's another activity. Another of our favorites is holding a stick. If I was to hold the stick in the middle, it's balanced, of course, but if I hold it to one end, it's a bit heavier on one side and heaviest there. And we do have fatter sticks that are even heavier. There's a couple of different activities we like to do. One is basic rotation, just over the top, keeping the fingers fully engaged, just below horizontal if you can. And again, those can be performed with a bent arm or a straight arm. From the balanced position, you can also work on the top of the wrist here by pointing forward. I like to pull it in and then push it out and point at something. Notice how I'm putting load over the top of the wrist right here, and then pulling it back in like so. Of course, make sure you're in a fairly high section of ceiling because you don't want to go jamming the light bulbs. Next up, let's get a bit ancient. We have ancient Chinese recipe of rice in bucket. Okay. These activities have been used for years upon years by martial artists to strengthen their wrists, and also by rock climbers to strengthen their wrists and rehab their fingers as well. All the little muscles in here that we often just forget about. Okay? There's a lot of activities we can do in here, but fundamentally, the deeper you go into the rice, the more the resistance there is around your hand. So I'm just going to go into the rice, and when I get in there, I'm going to keep my wrist in a nice straight line. This posture here, I like to describe it as grabbing the coffee cup. Everything's in a straight line. I'm going to go in and I'm going to spread my fingers slightly, and then I'm just going to twist. And of course the rice is resisting me as I do that. The deeper I go in the rice, the more resistance there is. Spread my fingers slightly and just simply swirling it like you're trying to mix up the grains of rice. Okay, keeping your fingers as rigid as you can. So that's one activity. I'm just going in, spreading and twisting. Okay. Another one is to go in and bend the wrist and then pivot around like this. So the rice is running across me this way a lot more. And again, just swirl in it. That's another activity. Another nice one is to go in deep, spread your fingers, curl, grab a handful of rice, come out with that flexed wrist, and then just let it come out. So in, spread your fingers, now scoop, and let it down again. Spread fingers, scoop into a tight ball again, and let it go again. We cool? These kind of rice bucket activities really do get into all those little nitty-gritty muscles. Okay? There's some nice simple activities you can do to strengthen up your wrist next time you're at Aspire Fitness.